Katie had a bulldozer to push dirt around with. Katie also had a snowplow to plow snow with.
At first glance, 8-year-old Josh Spencer looks like any normal second grader trying to pay attention in class.
Katie belonged to the highway department. He is a perfectly normal child in second grade. He's a little boy that loves to play, have fun, learn. I don't see any problems with him with any of that aspect.
He loves to run, play, and ride dirt bikes. But things didn't start out so normal for this young boy. In fact, even before Joshua was born, there was something terribly wrong.
I think you were about 18 weeks pregnant. She started having some problems. His heart rate would drop. It scared us, and they told us, you know, he just had half a heart. And they set up a meeting and told us when he was born the best thing to do. They gave her 3 options. A heart transplant, which they don't live long enough to find a heart. The 3-stage surgery, which they had not done but 5 years, and they didn't have that many that had survived. Or once he's born, keep him comfortable, he would die within 3 days. That's what they suggested. They suggested to let him die.
His mom, Christy, couldn't understand it and was at a loss as what to do.
It scared me. I mean, I was really scared. I didn't know what to think. I cried. I didn't understand why.
Then, before her time to go to Vanderbilt, her water broke. We took her to her doctor at Mayfield. At the hospital there, they said, well, you're going to have him. He was also breech, so they did a C-section.
He looked like a normal baby, and I was crying so much, I really didn't look at him that closely. I mean, it was a scary situation, because I went through 6 months of knowing once he was born, I was going to let him die. I mean, after 3 days, he was going to be gone. And it was a rough situation.
But then something miraculous happened after little Josh was born.
They handed him to me to take to, and this makes me very emotional, but to take into where they clean him up. I started out the door and down the hall, and I heard a choir of angels singing "God's in Control." And it was over my head, and I started crying. I mean, I knew it was God, and I thought, well, God's gonna take him. He's in control. I didn't know what he had in store for us. And they took him into the nursery, and the pediatrician examined him. He came running out, and he said, we need to try to save this baby.
At that point, I thought, well, this has got to be God, you know, was giving me some kind of answer. And I said, well, let's do it.
Christy's sister, Kim, went into action.
I went home and called the prayer line.
She also started watching The Hour of Healing, the one program that her small TV would tune in.
We could get in one channel, and that's it. And that's when I started calling for him, because I wouldn't take no for an answer. I just knew that God was going to use him somehow.
Surgery was performed on Joshua, and the doctors began warning the family of the obstacles that might lie ahead for them.
They didn't think he would ever be able to talk. It was one thing right after the other.
They said he was going to come home with oxygen on him. No oxygen came on him because I called the Hour of Healing.
Now Joshua is a walking miracle. The boy who was given only 3 days to live has survived with half a heart for 8 years and counting.
To be honest, to look at Josh, he's a normal 8-year-old. Unless you see the scar on his chest, you don't know anything's wrong with him. And he's a miracle. That's all there is to describe him.
And when you ask his family what made the difference,
he knows that God healed him. He knows that if it hadn't been for God, he wouldn't be here. God's proved them all wrong. I mean, he's as normal as any other kid.
Their prayers were God sent. And I don't think if I didn't call the prayer line, he would be here today.
I think they're wonderful. They're there for anybody that, you know, when you got a problem to call. They pray with you. They're wonderful. That's the only way I can describe it. They're awesome.